Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We have a bonus episode, kind of just some content talking about analytics and vBLE.
With Mist.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other, and what we talked about before was kind of the user engagement and having these things in the ceiling transmitting beacons down to your phone.
Mm-hmm.
The other big user thing we're seeing out there right now is really around asset visibility. And this is really around being able to hear beacons coming up from things. Case in point, this is like a little BLE tag, for a couple of bucks. We were just at Cisco Salesforce, and we had 18,000 of these things walking around the space, right?
That's a lot, yeah.
And so the other big use case.
dropping them on people's pockets?
Yeah, they're just like, you slip in the back, and we had all types of use cases, right? Track your boyfriend, girlfriend type
Nice.
of thing. But anyway, the other big use case is really around what can you do with this BLE stuff when you actually start listening to things.
So you're talking analytics.
This is more around analytics, right? When people want to know whether it's like the Cisco sales event where they really want to know how people are moving around.
Okay. Cisco Live.
Cisco Live.
Yes.
No, Cisco Sales. This is a Cisco Sales event.
Oh, yeah, because that's where they want to know where vendors are going, really.
It's more about Cisco sales guys and want to know, did they get their 19 hours of training?
Nice!
Things like that, right? Where you want to make sure that, if you're at a conference or something.
You're not
Hopefully
just
none
hanging
of
out
those
at
guys
the bar.
are watching this.
It's like how many BLE, how many arrays did you have to put at the bar to see where they were at and how often?
And how long they were
What were you doing at the bar at 11 o'clock?
But, this is the point of it. When you think about asset visibility, what you can do with it, what we're finding is all these different use cases, right? Once we converge Wi-Fi and BLE, we have healthcare customers now who are really looking at BLE as kind of a horizontal replacement for their vertical BLE solutions, right?
That's
all
a good
expensive RTLS solutions.
Yeah.
So asset tracking, where is it? How long is it?
That could be
area?
a lot in hospitals. You could put one on a patient. At that point in time, they went to the bathroom, they fell, they need help. You have an actual location for them. There's a lot of situations where, patients get up and wander.
There's elopement, Alzheimer's, right? There's all types of use cases. And then they have very expensive solutions in place right now. So they're looking at BLE as kind of like Wi-Fi, right? It's a standards-based solution, horizontal, something that's more cost-effective. So case in point, all these little green things up here are all the different assets floating around the space here. If we go back to our healthcare thing, if we go over to analytics, what we're starting to see are people who actually start to want to answer questions like compliance, right? Where you want to know, are all the doctors and nurses in the same room at the same time?
Oh,
right?
wow.
Because you want to kind of know, same thing with like the event, right? How many people actually showed up for their training session?
Okay.
Same with doctors and nurses. Where is a doctor and nurse? How many minutes did they actually spend in the conference room? I actually just saw another use case where it was really around cost recovery.
Okay.
In small rural hospitals.
All right.
Where it's more about, they get paid by the government on how many minutes the doctor spends with the patient versus waiting.
Wow.
Right?
I was also thinking in a scheduling sense in the hospital. It's like, okay, are a lot of your doctors taking breaks or shift changing? You know what I mean?
Or how often are they spending with
where
the
are they located in the hospital? It's like, okay, if you have a majority of your doctors on floor 1, but you have no doctors on floor 3, what happens if something happens? Now you have doctors having to rush up. You can kind of, this opens up a lot of possibilities.
Right. And this is where, as we move from what I call the nice to have, the must have, is once this infrastructure is in place, there's all these different use cases that's coming out of the use case, whether it's, room management, facilities management, doctor, nurse, event planning. This is why I think we're going to see converged Wi-Fi BLE really become this must have, as we start to develop the apps and the other use cases around it.
Yeah, could you think about it? Having somebody there saying, hey, I have a situation, for instance, facilities, where it's like, all right, you're closest. Can you grab it? It's kind of, this has so many applications.
Yeah, there's no end to it, right?
Yeah.
It's like this whole school safety thing,
a lot of
right?
possibilities.
Yeah, I've got ideas just running.
Yeah. Where is everybody right now in a situation? Like, where are they on the campus?
Yeah.
Where are they all migrating to?
Yeah. So anyway, this is kind of an example of the asset visibility and where BLE is really helping businesses provide, what I call operational efficiencies.
Okay.
The beacon is more about user engagement and providing user experiences. This is really focused on usually helping businesses improve their efficiency in some way, right?
Okay.
Whether it's helping getting maids to the room faster or helping getting doctors and nurses together faster.
Yeah. So what are we looking at here on this page specifically?
This is a page of actually kind of your zone analysis, right? This is looking at that doctor nurse where you want to know this is a visitor. So these are all the different visitors in the zone.
Mm-hmm.
You may want to be answering a question of, did the doctor and the nurse all end up in the same zone at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
So this is an example of compliance where you're trying to make sure that, you have information about who was in the zone, how many people, how long did they dwell there, and who were they there with.
Okay.
Sure.
So this is an example of the analytics that can go along with your BLE visibility once you have everything in place.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see all types of use cases ranging from healthcare, retail, hospitality, and even safety, right? There's the first shooter problem. If there's some event happening, you want to know where are all the kids at any given time? What zones are they in?
So I have a quick question. This might be a little off cuff, but with the asset tags, have you guys found ways to put them in other objects? Like in healthcare, we're talking possibly like the Vocera badges at everybody. So you're tying into multiple, so people aren't, okay, I have a asset tag in my packet, or even building it into the clothing itself, because this thing is tiny. You could put it in a shirt.
Yeah, I think, we're all used to the RFID tags. Wave in and thing. I mean, we're seeing people put BLE into those tags.
Okay.
We're starting to see people build BLE into, suitcases. So you're starting to see BLE develop this whole ecosystem. This is why it kind of really reminds me of the Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing a whole ecosystem of tag vendors multiply. There's a whole ecosystem of app developers developing. We're part of that ecosystem with our BLE Wi-Fi infrastructure and our virtual beacons. So yeah, I think we're seeing another industry evolve before our eyes.
Yes.
Nice. That's
something growing here.
Yeah.
So with this view here, I see there's a heat map. So here you can tell, I guess, how many devices are there in a zone at a specific time.
Correct. Here you're looking for, how dense, how many people do we have in the zone? So this is, for like conferences, if you're at a conference or an event, you kind of want to know where are the peak areas happening. Where are the time zones that we actually have a lot of traffic through a different zone.
Yeah, that's very useful, especially, and I think of, big conferences like Cisco Live, where somebody might be having some sort of presentation going on in a specific part of the floor. You can see the heat map get more dense because maybe there's a huge interest in that. So maybe next year, you would either have more of those presentations throughout the day or split them off into two different
Could you imagine seeing these in your Cisco Live badge?
In your badge.
Yeah.
And then we start walking around, and now you can actually do real-time analytics on where people are going, how your booth... Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, worst thing I hate at a conference is scan your badge. I just want to look. I don't need to be bombarded, but this would be like, all right, you had this kind of... You could have actual traction and seeing why people
dwell times
on
and specific booths. Okay.
I mean, I think the other thing that this dashboard highlights is really, when you look at the back end behind all this stuff, this is all real time. This is not something that took days of batching, right? This is actually being updated.
So we're not seeing this updated every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes.
So you're saying you had
interval.
like 18,000 people walking that conference, and the analytics on the back end were being updated on real time?
And so we had enough.
Wow.
That basically highlights how much scalability we have with this, and that's another thing.
That's impressive.
Moving to these cloud architectures now is, you basically,
scale.
Yeah, you have the scalability of Twitter and Netflix, right? I mean, you can basically load up, you can spin up as many machines as you need.
The days of having that server getting bogged down should disappear.
The request for RAM is no longer an issue.
No. It's a push of the button. Right?
It's like, I need another 6 gigs of RAM over here, please. No, you just spin it up and go.
Just call your DevOps guy out there and say, hey, Osmond.
Should be automatic, right? So once it sees that uptick, it could start calling for those resources. And then as the number of devices go down, you bring back.
What a world we live in! What a world we live in!
It's becoming magical.
What else can you show us with this dashboard you have here in front of us?
So I think, if you look, if we go back to the other view, so this basically shows the entire floor plan, right? So, we can look at the zones, or you can look at the entire floor plan to see what's going on in this office at any given time. So that's the other big analytics we're looking at. So that is showing both the dwell time.
And you could see also, I would assume, like repeat clients, so you can see how often people come back versus unique clients that are there like once or
Yes.
They're coming back twice, they're coming back 3 times.
Yeah, so we actually have APIs, so depending on who we're working with, so all this information can be extracted out, and you can basically create whatever other views you want to create out of it.
Create your own dashboards beyond this.
Yes. Integration with other things. Well, who would have thought?
Yes. And I think that's the other big thing we've been seeing with our, is really the API aspect of the architecture. Because I think we're moving definitely from the kind of the days of the managed Cisco boxes to the days of, it's really, the new...
Giving the users more control over the data that they can...
Which is interesting, is you get a lot of this analytics, and people are like, "Oh, my job is getting." You think you're taking the box out of my data center? It's getting easy. No, it's getting more complex now. Yeah, it's like we're getting
just a shift
so much
in what we do.
Yeah,
and now for people like us, we're getting more into the data side, which is more drives what happens in the business. So we're being more useful, I think.
I think that's the nature of IT, right?
Yeah.
I think you're seeing the nature of IT change from, just,
a cost center.
Configuring boxes to actually basically, take data and actually do something with it and make business value out of it.
From a Wi-Fi perspective, I want this everywhere just because this is how you plan things. Right now you have, data gathering. It's like I want to lay an overlay before I plan a high-density network. Could you imagine having this and just gathering data from like a stadium, and then you can say, okay,
you got some sort of capacity planning.
Yeah, it's a capacity. It's almost a capacity planner in itself, which is it's just you can take your initial plan and build off of it.
You tie it into also what you do as a company. So the stadium's a good use case. You have X amount of people that you're tracking here with the location. Maybe the marketing team pushed something out that help drives people more towards using an app or going towards a specific location.
Or move your ticket
to
a BLE, to an asset tag wristband that you get. Everybody loves their little rubber wristbands. You know what I mean? Now you have an asset tag that they acknowledge having, and so you're not trying to hide it. It's not something they have to download. Right. It's a seamless experience, because that's kind of the problem with location is you got to have an app. You got to have a, you know what I mean? But with this...
Maybe the hot dogs are in the wrong place. Whoa. Everyone's migrating over to the wrong stand.
Actually, we'll just start putting asset tags in the hot dogs.
Well, I don't know about that.
And I think that's the beauty with BLE right now, is, it's what I call passive active, right? Mm-hmm. Passive analytics is kind of I'm listening to you without your permission. Mm-hmm. Active analytics is really having the user opt in. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's a much more powerful thing when you have users actually opting into the experience. Because they're getting something out of it, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why the user engagement and this go better together. Because with the user engagement, you're getting that user to opt in to the whole experience.
Exactly.
And he's willing to give you some information in return for that.
Okay.
That's I mean, this is exciting stuff.
It just opens up so many possibilities that we can just keep going with this. I would say if you guys have any ideas, leave them in the comments, because I think I'd like to see what people can come up with using this platform and gathering data. What kind of solutions can we come up with to solving issues that we
day-to-day problems?
Yeah.
I hope everybody liked this little bonus. Yeah. I think it was a great talk, and we needed to have a conversation about it because analytics is kind of key in our marketplace now. So thank you, Bob, for
thank you
having, and let's do this, and we will see you in the next session or episode.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. We hope you found it very insightful, very educational. And if you have any comments or feedback on this video, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you guys think. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get access to new episodes, know when they come out. And also, we got some other videos right here for you to check out if you haven't seen them already. Well, we'll see you guys soon.